Welcome in, welcome in. Glad you guys are here. All right, all right, all right. We're with another episode. God, some dynamic episodes we had, but leading up into this, I want to appreciate everybody with this giving in Cash App, leading and wanting to have be able to even get some better equipment, to be able to have the access to even use other platforms, so I can use that and have just better show. This is okay, but I can improve it and I want to improve it. As our listeners go up and everything else goes into the aspect of, I even see some of the stuff that some of the other shows, how their graphics, and I'm like, man, I like to be somewhat like that. But anyways, just the care and the reflection of the breathing in and breathing out. If you care, you get care back. If you give, you receive. If you receive, you're apt to give, allowing the flow to flow instead of blocking it and making the water find its own way, because water always finds a way, right? But anyways, let's get into it. We got a heavy episode. I didn't know whether to call this a connected vibe or off the cuff, because we do have a off the cuff, but I do have a platform of what this is specifically about. And let's not just hide behind this. Let's go in with all you guys being around and seeing what's going on. Everyday things in the world outside of you, driven by the matrix, driven by the things we worry about. You got in California and the West Coast, a bunch of earthquakes happening one after another within the last week. Bigger in size, some of them, and bigger, in the north, especially more towards the north in the last week of California. So when you got these increases, right, of earthquakes in different places, it calls it diverse places in the Bible. And what I wanted to do though is touch on that, but also touch on something that we've been seeing, and it aligns with something a show I've been wanting to do, which fits right perfectly into it, about something I wanted to talk about. I actually had it in my books, but tempted to do it and thought about doing it, but haven't been led, and this led me perfectly into it. So we know, if you're paying attention, we've seen the earthquakes in the southeast. We've seen it in the Carolinas and that Atlantic area of the east and south, with the earthquakes that happened in North Carolina and Virginia, and the heavy rains and the heavy flooding, right? And then now we're having all these drones popping up everywhere. So let's get into it. And I'm going to share some stuff with you, and we're going to get into it. This may go a little long today. I can't tell you how long it's going to go, so I'm going to get started, because there's a lot to talk about here and unpack and redistribute it with a thought form that you could take a great perspective of your angles and your discernment, but also within your degrees, and say, because a lot of what's happening in the propaganda world, a lot of us that are awake, we know that that's all it is. Many of us to the tilt is, if you're here and you're learning and you're just getting this, or you've never known this before, obviously there's been, for many of us that are awake, we see through the programming. I mean, it's just obvious. This is a lot of stuff from, I'm going to tie in even the recent stuff with the guy, I can't remember that guy's name, the Christian that debated, this goes right in the Christian who debated Billy Carson. I'm going to fit it into this too, into the narrative, into another thing that months ago I had a video about I think the 11th chapter of Book of Revelation, 9th chapter, I think. I have to look it up. But the narrative was about during the Olympics. The Olympics was showing us the narratives in the opening and closing ceremonies of from all of them what was coming forward. We seen the 2012 showed us everybody sick and bad, and people taking temperatures, and green goblins coming out and all that stuff, telling us about the crown that was coming and introduced as we had an agenda pushed on us in 2019 to 2020, what gets me is there's a lot of people, I call them the masses. And this is why when I keep saying and reiterating, is that when you go look at the 1907 school board meeting, you're going to find something very, very peculiar, if not surprising if you never have. But those who know should know, and it don't surprise me that we were really driven to a place where we were considered in the school district as cattle, or they call it agriculture, right? Cattle. It's in college. It's called, what is it called? It's called. They teach agriculture at UC Davis here in California, big ag school. Any school where you see the nickname of their teams or their nickname, the Aggies, it probably has a big agricultural aspect to it. So if you look at the school board meeting, it pretty much said they didn't want free thinkers, right? I did a video on it. Go back and listen. It's a ways back now. You can find it. I shared it. You're really looked at as more cattle, and the reason you're looked at the masses as cattle is you can be directed where to go, easily programmed, like cattle. You put some fences up, you can lead them into the corral you want. They'll walk right into it without anybody free thinking in the cattle. They just will follow. And because when we live in a bottom part of a lowest 3D frequency reality, we are like cattle. In our frequency of our consciousness, we really just barely rise above it, I'm gonna say. Just above the animals, but easily controlled and manipulated without thinking about what's happening through the process. An awareness, a 3D based reality, we know that we're not. When you take your game up to other realities, you're not. You see through the crap and the BS. But anyways, so we've had these drones. This is gonna fit all in. This may be one of my longest videos ever. I just know it after yesterday's speech. Let's get started. I'm gonna share some pages. We're gonna do some talking. I got a lot to share here. We're gonna get in it. Let me move this out of the way because it's in my way. It might not be in yours, but it's in my way. All right. So we're not going to go there yet. So yesterday, there was a media come together about everything happening because drones are popping up everywhere. I was listening to this talk show on sports. Quite often. His name's Coach JB. I just get a kick out of him and the way he is, an old school type of thing. I used to be a football coach too. So I get a kick out of his mindset of what we're seeing now presented in sports with the, softy cone generation. I'll just say what it really is. There's a professional football player, all-star many times, Pro Bowler. I don't even know, he may have a ring, I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, Eric Whittle. And he said on the weekend, he took a video, sent it to JB, showed him the video, sent him, and he said above his house in the north of me or south of me towards San Diego area, in the hills, he lives kind of high, he said, where he looks down and sees everything. There was a drone above his house, and he recorded it and sent it to JB. But this is just one report of that somebody I know that I watched saying that somebody they knew, who I knew, Eric Whittle, not personally, but as a football player, having that kind of play. But this is happening all over, especially on East Coast places at this time. Now we have some West Coast. Continually, people are talking about drones, and there's an agenda being really pushed even through the government and through some other stuff. So let's hear what Trump says. And I'm going to be along with him. This video is only a minute and 13 seconds. So this minute and 13 is going to probably not even be that much because there's really something just key. I want you guys to hear what he says. And I'm going to stop it.
Good to see you. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening.
He just told you The government knows what's happening. But what's being pushed, even through mainstream media, and them who control the narrative of mainstream media, the thing is you control the narrative of mainstream media. When you control the narrative of the mainstream media, you will push out your agendas because the narrative's being controlled by you. And the narrative's being controlled. This even goes into the debate, the hot debate, because we've had certain people in the conscious community that keep pushing this agenda of aliens. And he had a debate with a Christian and got his, over certain aspects of this debate, got his butt handed to him and fell apart. I mean, this guy fell apart. I'm just going to be honest. Many people have asked me about the guy and even said, you know, the guy, I don't share him because I know him, and I've known for 2 years when I see a grifter, and I've known that BC's a grifter. So am I surprised? No. He's connected to Ancient Alien series, which is connected to the Wood, which is, for me, BS to as far as you can get BS to. On his books and writings, I've seen really people with education that are chronologists go through his books and show you that they're just what Zacharias stitching copycats. It's nothing he created on his own. He was good at using other people's stuff. That's just the fact. So he gets crushed and then falls apart and losing people following him over and over. And then he ended up like on Joe Rogan and the PD podcast as this spiritual leader. And then I'm like, he ain't my spiritual leader. I've known this guy a long time ago. Some of my friends that were connected to him turned me on to him. Within that first 4 days, my spirit said, nope, get rid of that channel. He ain't the one. And then I kind of started seeing the clarification why. My intuition was speaking to me, but that's just part of this. That's just happened. And he's very much a person that's pushing an agenda of, oh, the green goblins are here and we need to go up, and that they start, I was done. So he gets crushed. So this is happening everywhere, this agenda of the aliens. So he tells you right here, the government knows exactly. And then when you look in the history of this, of these flying saucers, because this goes into flying saucers, and you can even look at it yourself. Sanchez really broke this down, Brother Sanchez, and he was showing in his pictures the flying saucers, which are made by the government. The Vivana goes back into the Vivana, which is like a spaceship, went all the way back into India, and then the Germans, the Nazis, created the Vivana. Many people, I did a video here showing you with Robert Seffer showing the Vivana and the women who had created it way back in the 30s that were in Europe, the women who, and then the Russian, the Nazi government was able to get them. They were not bad people, these women. They weren't about war. They used it for transportation. And it's a spaceship. So if you notice that you have this aspect of World War II, Operation Paperclip, right? Operation Blu-ray, all these things happening to lead us to a certain place. So right here, Trump immediately says the government. The government goes and gets these. Believe me, if this was an invasion, they'd be shot down. Just like if China shot something over here, it would be shot at. I'm going to tell you, it's from them, but this is a setup. I'm just going to be honest. They're setting you all up. And the masses will eat this like candy, like cotton candy. I'm telling you, even biblically, you Christians need to look at this, because I'm going to even pull out a scripture for you about in the book of Revelation. So when you hear this, let's see if he's got anything more to say in here that goes along with it.
Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out.
And that's where I'll leave it at. And that's true. He's not lying in that. Do I think he's a perfect person in the answer? No. No. I think I know both sides politically are the same coin. If you were to take a nickel quarter, one would be heads and one would be tails, and they're the same quarter. In the backstage, because this is all politics, ain't nothing but the wood now. It really has been, but it's been amped up the last 4 years as you see all the disclosures coming out. You got all these people that one time would call you tinfoil hatters. Come on now, let's be honest. And now it's like, God, which conspiracy theories are not proven? Booyah. And so when I see this and acknowledge this, he just told you the truth. Do I think it's the perfect? No, but he told you the truth. If it was your enemies, it'd be blasted down. So you think it was really some green goblins coming from another, they had to blast that thing down. Come on now. But I feel it's ramping up for something more because they're feeling you guys. They're feeling the masses, just like they did with the 1919-1920 Cootie Awards, right? They're getting to feel what can we easily lead them to, and they'll follow. So we've seen there's a big change in one aspect. For the conscious community, there's a hell of a growth right now. For the conscious community that are tapping into a deeper sense, your aspects of yourself, your clarus, your intuitions, your telepathies, and if it's telekinesis, good for you. I would like to tap in that, never have. Telepathy, yes. Any of these are amplified. Your sentience, amplified. Your empathic, amplified. You're feeling things, you're seeing your field, and in your field, you're seeing all the information easily accepted, sentience ran through you. Everything's amplified in your awareness for them who are raised and looking for the upgrades are happening now. But there's also a game being played with us. And that game being played with us is they're seeing who is and who isn't, because I'm going to tell you, there's people out here that are still Cootieville. There's people that are still going and taking cootie juice. And those who are awake are like, what? Because of the sleepiness and the lack of this on some aspects, it's happening. They can still be deceived. And it's even scripturally in the book of Revelations, if the days were shortened, the very elect wouldn't make it, right? There's a scripture that talks about that. And then, not only recently with this, what we see with Trump. Get my glasses. I got another something to share with you. This has been, how many have heard of realism? I've been meaning to bring this out for months, and I just didn't feel it. And I kept saying, when do I bring out the realism? As you can see, you can already see the symbol of the feminine and masculine energies. And then within it, you see the swastika, which we know has been used for Nazism, but also we also know that it's an ancient symbol. I was just watching a Korean drama recently, and when I seen it, they were definitely in an area of a Buddhist temple, and I go, look. I said, look at that. I said, look at that. That's a swastika on the Buddhist temple, because these were on there for years. They were everywhere. The meaning of recent, which been pushed down our throats from the Nazis, and it's a Nazi symbol. No, it's not. That's just the ones who changed it recently into what they meant it for. Its ancient meaning is true balance and wholeness. Come on now. But notice realism has it. We're going to find out, if you don't know about realism, you're going to find out what realism today is. We're going to tie this in, how this ties in with the events recently. You have this major events, which ends up being, I believe, my belief is the whole thing with this Christian debate with the so-called spiritual community leader debate. He ain't my leader, never was. Seen through that cat a long time ago. But neither do I trust the other one, because if you were coming with real stuff, there's no way that a true spiritual person will lose a debate with a Christian. You know where to attack on them immediately about their religion. I mean, you can go for that jugular vein immediately. But guess who else got involved in it? The Pope. He's talking about we need to bring Jesus to the aliens. Come on now. Come on, you guys. Discernment, ridiculous. And we know anything that comes from Rome? That's a synagogue of where? The synagogue of what? Satan. Come on now. My reach out is to the Christians not to be deceived, but they are easily deceived in their own scripture. And then it says in the book of Revelations, there'll be a great falling away. Why? Because they're easily deceived, because they're really not founded on truth. They're found on extrinsic. Remember, I just did intrinsic recently. Well, the opposite of intrinsic, within, is extrinsic, without, which is exoteric. The indoctrination and dogma of the religion is very exoteric. It's not even leading you to truth. It's leading you trying to make this a history story, right? But here's something that wasn't adopted that I see the whole thing with, not going back a little bit, we're going to go back to this debate. I'm not seeing it as this guy won and this guy lost anymore. I'm seeing the whole thing as a psyop. Even to PDF, Joe Rogan, it's all been a psyop. Because I know a person who requested to go on these shows, who easily make mincemeat out of Billy Carson's findings. And he asked to go on to have his time to share about these questions about what was brought. They won't answer them. They use this because it's part of it's a psyop. The whole thing's a psyop. To this debate, he got so shattered in the debate, because these are actors, this is what I believe, that he's falling apart and his believers that followed him are leaving by the second, by the droves. And one part of me said, good, because you were a psyop. One part of me says, but I believe it, because he got signed to a big contract. And actually, I don't have it, but Sanchez showed. He's getting part of the NASA money because he started a rocket. He started a business about developing rockets and space travel, Carson, and was getting money for it because he's part of it. It's PSYOP City, so he had to be sacrificed. Sometimes this is what they do, not sometimes, all the time. When they're done with you, they're done with you. You fulfilled your purpose. You probably instantly got a lot of money. It's just a bunch of drama for your mama. It's the wood at its best. Better than Netflix, better than that. But it's to suck the masses in to their leadership of where the direction they want us to go. But anyways, so realism, let's find out a little bit about realism. Let's do a little Wikipedia. Watch this. God, they're asking for money. I guess they're sure. Let's go. Realism, also known as realism, is a UFO religion founded in 1970 by Claude Vorilhon, known as Rael. Scholars of the religion classify realism as a new religious movement. The group is formalized as the International Raelian Movement, IRM, or Raelian Church, a hierarchical organization. Realism teaches that extraterrestrial species known as the Elohim created humanity using advanced technology. And this is where we're at. This was leading us to where we're going. This is leading us to where this is about. We're going to get even more into realism on the religious practices. So you had the Pope sign off on the UFO stuff, saying we need to give the aliens Jesus. And maybe a little wine and bread too. Come on, let's get real. And I mean more real than this. Notice that, like I said, notice what symbol we have. We have that feminine and masculine power. It is not, I'm going to say it now, it is not the Star of David. And you say, oh, no, it's not. It was way before that. And if you go listen to some Jews they'll tell you this has no significance in their history. It doesn't. It's been named by others, maybe connected to realism, the prerequisites into realism of what this really is. It's a feminine and masculine energy. That which is above is below also. That which is above, going into that which is below, is creativity. Feminine, masculine energy. That's what this symbol means. But then you see they even through the symbol make a swastika. hate on the swastika. I know what the swastika is, and it's good. This is when we start disconnecting from the system, knowing they're always feeding us. I'm going to break down Baphomet. We've been demonized Baphomet. That's what they may have used it for recently in the hijacking, but that's not what Baphomet means in its origination of what does it mean. I got a book here called All the Symbols from All Ages by Manly P. Hall, who breaks this stuff down in his book. It's a good read. You ought to get it. The hidden knowledge of and signs and symbols of all ages. It's there. Realism. But this realism, notice rawism. I like the raw in it, going back into other aspects of it. Let's see what else we got. Let's see if there's anything more. You see the Elohim pushing and down, New Scientific, the Church and Science. The the Scientology's adopted this. Yes. Even you have the Muslim leader, what's his name, talking about the great alien gods coming down. There, it's a setup. And you go, D-boy, what are you talking? I'm talking about real today. I'm not talking about falling for. I'm not talking about falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We need to be ready because this is coming. You talk about not having to leave your house like we did experience in 1920 and 1919. I mean, 2019, 2020. They'll feel if they can do that again. We did see it. And you can go down and see that. Let's go. The definition and classification. It's also been described as a UFO religion. Yep. Unidentified flying objects. How about identified flying objects from the government? Created it, just didn't tell you. We have a great comedian not long ago from the old school, right? Carlton, right? What's his name? George Carlin. Tell us there's a club and you're not in it. You're not in it. But we made our own club. We've awakened ourselves, those who are going through this process. Watch this. See if there's anything else here to read, but so we can go to the next aspect is this it? Let's go this part. Up here we go. See, there's even a Christian realism. And I had something here I wanted to add, and I don't see it here, and I'm getting hot. Where'd it go? Oh, I know where it's at. It's on the other thing. I'm trying to see if there's something else I wanted to share, if this was it, the same thing. It's a movement, yes. I think it's the other thing. Let's go out of here. I got something else to share that wasn't included here. Let's do another share. Let me do this again because I know what's wrong. I definitely know what's wrong. Let's go out of here and here. And here, because these are the same. We're going to add something that I had put on there and I don't see it. And this is for Revelation 13:13. Why do I think that's not what I'm looking for? Here it is. I just want the scripture. I don't want their doctrine. Hell no, I don't want their doctrine. Let's see. Let me mess around. I don't want no hub. That's for sure. No. You ain't worth a shit. I just want the scripture. I don't want their details of what it means. I don't want their, all that stuff. All that candy ass shit. I guess let's go here. I really didn't watch. Guess it'd be the same thing. Let's go to the international version. I was looking for the King James version. Okay, here it is. And it really doesn't matter, but this one I like. He performs great wonders and signs right here, right? And even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And there's more to this. What is 14 then? Get me out of the way. You guys probably can see it there. So 13, right? He performs this, talking about I think the false prophet. If I go into 12 and 11, he makes fire come down from heaven in the sight of man. He makes fire come down from heaven. This is why you're dealing with UFOs. Fire is plasma. Fire is heat. Fire is a hologram. We can do anything in the sky with a holographic information and fire to make you believe anything now. I mean, they had Tupac and Michael Jackson come back and have a concert in a holographic form. Shit. To be honest. This was telling you by the false prophet. So you have the Vatican signing off on this. You got the government signing on it, and you know those. You take those two entities and you believe them, you're getting a sideway look for them. Those are the two that when they say look right, you look all the way around you, but you start left. Because the distractions that distract you so they can come around and put a banana in your tailpipe on the other side. Right? So here you have, and I want to read 14 too. Right here. The second beast performed great signs that caused fire from heaven to come down right here, earth in the presence of the people, because the signs was given to him on behalf of the first beast. It deceived those who dwell on earth, telling them to make an image, and the beast that would be wounded by the sword yet liveth, right? So what point I'm making is that this is lining up for, I always thought that they could be one of two things. You could line this up for this, which I really think this is what we're going to see. Not surprised that wouldn't be all of it though, in the long run. Get the people's feel, put them in fear, because the masses will go into fear, right? And the elite love the fear, and them who the reality love the succubuses love the fear energy to eat off of your fear. It's called loosh. I've had videos about loosh. And then everybody obeys by obeying what they say. And this even would allow a unity, which is a false light unity of the people, because of fear, all governments to come together and say, we need to work together because we're all being attacked by aliens above. The false, where it says they'll have miracles, false miracles in the sky that will deceive you and them that dwell on earth. Don't be deceived, my folks. This is easily seen and decoded with your bursting, because you know the knowing, because even through this, those who are feeling and experience this, it's being taken to another level, right? It's being taken to another level. So there you have a religion that's based on a UFO. The Elohim, which is not one. Go look at the word Elohim, automatically goes, it means more than one. It means many. Then he hands the ball off to Yahweh, who's oh my gosh, the demiurge. That one's a character. Just being honest. In this reality. So you have the Pope signing off, the government even pushing it. Now you're having all these drones pop up everywhere, all over the place. Drones, 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 drones. And then the first video we seen that Trump said the government knows. If the government knows and it's the enemy, he said they would shoot him down. Hold that, remember that. Hold that, remember that. So when these aliens come, if it was aliens, they shoot them down because they don't know them. Just like it was China or Russia was shooting something, or dang Mexico or Canada was shooting something at us. It would block and it would fire back. You would not allow drones just to hover. This is what I'm saying. And then I'm going back to the Bavana and then the women in Germany, and I forget those sisters' names, who created the flying saucers. I'm going to even go back to when you look at the 1938 Orson Welles TV show radio TV show about an alien invasion in 1938. Notice 38, we go into World War II. After World War II, we have the end, we have Operation Paperclip. Then we have the UN, which is now the rallying call to bring forth the one world order. It just is. The UN is not good. Never was. Its intentions never is to bring unity. It's unity, but it's the false light unity of dominating you, us, with the aspects that are false light. That's why the multitudes could be deceived, because they fall for false light. Come on now. And then we have a religion started in 1970 and going back, let me go back to the 50s. Notice in the 50s, you start introducing sci-fi movies. Notice 38, you have the UN in 47, you make a country and call it the state, but it's a country, but yet it's called the state of, you know what I'm talking about? And it's a real. My question, is it? Put that together in my decode, what I just said. And then, now the aspects of pushing the agenda of the aliens to the aspect of all we see now. I'm telling you, it's real. And then you have this religion called realism that's a UFO religion. The only thing I knew in the 70s was a rock band called UFO. I didn't never hear about this UFO, but I've been knowing about it for a while because I wanted to do a realism show. I wanted to share realism with you guys. But the context of it, I kept getting blocked. I didn't feel it to show it. And then yesterday when I noticed what happened with all this stuff that I go, this goes perfectly with it, because it's the religion of the things they're propagating from the Pope to the mints, to the media, and to us, the programmed ones, or the ones they elect to program through their media, which is their agendas, and they hold the narrative, right? They used the unveiling even of disclosure. I'm coming very clear now, of disclosure, which was all propagated, not fully into what it is, but halfway into the Democratic Party and all its stuff. And it flipped a lot of people out of that because they had had enough. But will they fall for this again, like 2019, that could go into lock-ins, fear-based? Telling you folks. And if they did, it's not aliens that would be causing damage. It would be the mints would be doing it to their own people. That's facts. Not some alien. The only alien I know is a lien on your house and on your property, and somebody comes across the border that's not registered to this country is an alien. Those aliens I know. And a lien is a alien. Come on now. Because you really don't own anything. You guys that own houses, the people of us who may own houses and property, you don't own anything. Unless you got a illegal loan. In California, those are very difficult to get. Illegal, yeah, I'm talking real truth. Nobody really owns stuff. But anyways, so you have this realism, then you have this debate, you have all this stuff going, right? Now, I just forgot. Now, within today, January 6th, it came out that it was a psyop in the news. And all these people are like, oh my God, it was a psyop. It wasn't these right-wing Trump people doing this. This was a whole psyop by the CIA FBI. Actually, this is the reports. I don't buy it all, but the thing I knew is when I go to 2019, that agenda, I can look and see there was a simulation 6 months before it started. You can't find it now, but there was a simulation about January 6th in early July, before January, the previous year. 6 months before the previous year. Then they started trying to wipe that simulation of the White House being invaded. Being what do they call it? All the people overthrowing the White House and the name they got it. There was a time and I seen it, and then I looked for it again and could not find it multiple times. Yes, both of them were simulations. Don't fall for okie dokes. Now, this doesn't mean the Democratic or the Republican Party. Man, I just showed you what MAGA means in videos recently. Both are in the same coin of the other side, working together. When 90% of them in high places in politics are actually related. Shoot, Joe and Kamala and Trump may all be cousins, or they might be all three in the back kissing. Wouldn't surprise me. Wink, wink. Or you find out that the presidents, out of the 46 of them, 45 are related, which tells me it's still blue blood. An 11-year-old girl did that work in 2008, 2009, 2010? Yeah, my folks. So then you have this scripture lining up. So I'm going to even tell the Christians, because this debate with these Christians who are now starting to push this agenda along with the Pope, which tells me, guys, but it would tell you that group, it said there will be a falling away with that group, because it's all exoteric knowledge, not real knowledge. It's all head, and you think it's history, and it's not history. It's a copy of something before it. All of it is. Man, we just did 7, said Jesus was a type of Marduk. Come on now. This is true. And Serapis, he is a type of. I got a book here. Watch this real quick. I know we're winding down. Hope you can read that. I'm going to put it closer, a little closer. The world's 16 crucified saviors. I'm reading it. It started a long time ago. The same thing, born of a virgin, born on the 25th, the Lamb of God. All of them have these labels. Nothing's new under the sun. Actually, Christianity is just the last. Don't fall for the okie dokes, especially you spiritual ones. Anybody I wouldn't want to, but I know they will because they don't know. But spiritual ones can get okie doked. And the biggest thing that when you start looking at Billy Carson's work that I seen was the word shar. He was saying it was 435,000 years going back, and a shar was a year. It's not. A shar is a day. Now we just trim that down to 6,000 years, something like that. Yeah, shar is not a year, it's a day. And I knew that because I've seen chronologists breaking this down that know what they're saying. Not Zachariah Stitchin, who did some good work, but also I wonder if he left some things purposely not true, because I even question if it was purposely not done. So you guys, let's go back to realism. So realism's adopted religion that even the science, the Christian science adopted. Now we see, even recently, we see Muslims talking about it. Oh, that great alien God. We have their leader talking about it. Now we have the Christians talking. Now and the Pope talking about it. I think on what day? The 16th, or not the 16th, but they're going to open up 5 portals that they do every 25 years at the Vatican. And they're saying one of the portals was a jail. And I'm thinking in the book of Revelation, isn't it called about letting the that out connected to the bottomless pit out of the jail, and he's supposed to be blowing open 5 portals on the 20th or something like that. No, the Vatican is. Did you know that? And they're talking about aliens too. Get ready for the show. It's better than Netflix documentary, but you chosen ones got to focus in of what's going on. And even you guys are Christian, don't fall for this stuff. If you're a biblical, book of Revelation said lying wonders in the sky, they're already starting it. Easily, plasma can fake a Jesus coming back, or Krishna coming back, or a Buddha raising up in the sky, or aliens. They got the technology, because you're not in the club. Our phones, our cell phones, are not modern technology. We get that which is scraped off the master's table. Isn't that a scripture in the Bible? Even the Gentiles get that which is scraped off the master's, crumbs off the master's table. You ain't in the club. The technology you don't know about's the technology they don't tell you about, because you're not in the club. In fact, your cell phones suck. You know how? The GPS is horrible. If I took the knowledge of the GPS that I have in my phone, and you tell me you went to the moon, I have to question it. And I'll leave you with that. You guys have a great day. I'm getting rid of all this, and I haven't gave you guys a great day yet. Let's go. All right, you guys have a great day. We went deep. I went down if this is 45 minutes. I'm looking at the clock. I'm now 45 minutes or more at this point. But you guys have a great day. A really great day. It's a good one.